Hello YouTube, this is Insane Monster, and this is part 3 of What If Asta was the Avatar. Now, when we last left off, it just finished up on the dungeon arc. Once they got back to the Black Bull's hideout, Luck was spouting out everything that he saw Asta do when he completely lost it, seeing his eyes glow and just wrecking Mars the way he did, which all the Black Bulls are thinking, seriously, the hell is up with this kid? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Hence, the report does get to the Wizard King about Asta's capabilities and this form he took. So, once they got called to the capital to meet with the Wizard King for a report, Yami was actually asked to come along with him, which he kind of was annoyed that he had to go all the way to the capital just to give a report, and he just goes on with it begrudgingly. Once they get there, the similar things do happen with like Mimosa blessing from Asta and all that, and they go to where they need to with this time Yami in tow, just annoyed by these kids just a little bit, and which is where Julius the Wizard King shows up. Shows off his new spell in his grimoire, which Julius recognizes as the Wind Spirit Bell. And Asta shows off his new Demon Slayer sword, which the Wizard King can barely lift up because it's so freaking heavy. Then Julius gets serious looking at them and asks about Asta's abilities. Asta says that it isn't quite magic, since he can't create things like magic constructs. He just manipulates the elements as they are around him, explaining that if he was at sea on a wooden boat, he couldn't earthbend, or if he was in the desert, it would prove problematic to waterbend. Which the Wizard King firmly asks him what exactly is this power, and he just looks at him intensely, trying to resist the nerdy sparkle eyes as much as he can to try to get a straight answer from him. Asta looks at and just sighs. Well, knows already, and I'm pretty sure I can trust all you guys. So he extends his arm and tells everybody to grab on. They're a little confused, but he just says, it's something you have to see rather than just be told. It makes it a lot easier. So they did what he asked. He took a moment to calm himself, and his eyes began to glow. Though this wasn't the avatar state, this was the spiritual aspect that even Aang could do with before he gained full control of the avatar state. Once that happened, all of the people there, that include the Wizard King Julius, Mimosa, Klaus, Noel, and Yami, were all brought into an area where it was nothing but clouds. They were confused about what just happened and where they were. Then suddenly smoke began to rise around them, revealing multiple peoples, some men, some women, in odd clothing that they never seen before. They were getting ready, thinking that they would have to fight, though their magic wasn't working. Then suddenly, they all opened their eyes with them all glowing, with something else coming from up the clouds. This time it was Rava. Everybody was speechless, and she began to say hello and introducing herself as Rava the Light Spirit. They looked at Asta saying, "Wait, you use spirit magic to do that crap?" Asta says, "No, no, no, not at all." Which then they hear somebody say, "It's a lot more complicated than what you're making it out to be." When they look to see who's speaking, it's a man in some really basic red clothing, smiling with black spiky hair. It, and he says, "Hi, my name's Juan, and I'm actually the reason why Asta the way he is. At least I'm the first Avatar." They look at him and they say, "Avatar?" Julius asked, "What exactly is this Avatar?" Rava steps in, extending her little, I guess, feelers or whatever you want to call them, their threads, and places them on everybody's head, with Juan and her saying, "We will explain how the cycle of the Avatar came to be, as well as how powerful Asta could be, and Asta why the Avatar is in this world." It takes them back to where they showed them the beginning of the Avatar, where Avatar Wong began his story. They saw the world that the Avatar originally came from, with this massive cities on the backs of giant lion turtles who gave people the ability to bend. How he was mistaken and did a horrible mistake releasing Vatu from Rava's grasp. And in the act of trying to fix it, they collected the other elements in order with, from Wong's perspective, it was fire, air, water, and then earth. I believe, yes. As they train and such, all the way to the point of the harmonic convergence. They saw Rava pass through Juan over and over again, switching one element after another, until they merged together to fight him. It was going good, though it wouldn't last. And when the harmonic convergence happened, while Rava was still inside his body, he touched the energy of the harmonic convergence, bonding the two together permanently. And once that happened, Vatu got he got wrecked and imprisoned inside a massive tree in the spirit world, and the portals were sealed. As for what happened after that, they showed the lineup of all the Avatar's past lives surrounding them, stating that at one point, at points in the past, Asta in his previous lives was all of these people, which their just jaws hit the floor and break the concrete. They continue showing them the things that the avatars have in the past have done, starting with the last avatar of Earth that began with Earth, Avatar Kyoshi. They were Yami looked at Asta saying, "You were a woman in your past life? Did when they but then it was even more shocking seeing what Kiyoshi did, breaking apart a large chunk of land and then using her bending in the avatar state to create a entirely new island, hence Kiyoshi Island. Going further and further, we go to Avatar Roku and his fight against both the volcano, including his the fight before that with the Fire Lord of his time. We go further to Aang when he fought the Fire Lord in his Avatar spear. They were awestruck about this kind of power. And then lastly, the previous incarnation before Asta, Avatar Korra. How she fought not just the spirit of darkness Vatu again, after so long of him being sealed away in that giant spirit avatar form, as well as the creation of a third spirit gate, and all kinds of stuff. After that, Rava began to speak again, saying, "This is the state of the avatar. Once an avatar dies, they are reborn in the next element of the cycle. Though the avatar is not originally from this world. A encroaching darkness was seeping through this world into the spirit world that that I am from. I sensed it after the previous incarnation of the avatar, Korra, perished. With Vatu gone for the time being, I thought it would be best to halt this encroachment coming from another world. Once I got here, it was apparent that there was a coming darkness, though it was something I'd never faced before. As a side effect of bonding to someone, as a side effect of being reincarnated into this world, Asta was born without magic, instead having bending. Explaining the different types of bending, including unique types like combustion bending, lightning bending, lava bending, even using plants to attack people using water bending. Which she just finishes off, this is why Asta has these powers. And the goal of these powers, the reason why they exist, is to bring balance not to just one country, but to the entire world. And yes, what that means is that the encroaching darkness I mentioned is threatening this world. Once that was done, everybody snapped out of the trance and backed away, being just speechless after seeing that. They saw so many crazy things, including a blind girl that frickin' turned a metal door into a suit of armor. And did all kinds of crazy stuff. An old man that frickin' chucked a gigantic boulder at a kid. And all kinds of weird animals. Dragons, giant moles, a bison with 6 legs and can fly. All kinds of things. They just didn't know what to think for a moment. But once they composed themselves, there was like a million questions. And Noel's like, "You were a woman in your last life? A tan, muscular woman? What is with you and muscles?" Asta doesn't know how to respond to this, though he cannot deny it that his previous life it was a very muscular woman, as well as the other woman avatar that was there before Korra, Kyoshi. I mean, I would assume, considering. So, yeah, we can, once everybody gets composed, uh, Julia says, well, that is fascinating, but it's also quite concerning. And it does line up with some predictions I've had. When Asta asks what does he mean, he explains that his time magic allows him to get vague predictions of the future. And it does mention a danger coming our way. But not knowing what exactly the danger is does make it problematic. But now we do know what exactly your powers are, and they're in no way magic. But to think a human and a spirit bonded together permanently, does that mean that you're half human, half spirit? His eyes just light up like a frickin' Christmas tree. And Asta just kind of says, well, kind of, I guess. The Avatar's supposed to be a bridge between spirits and humans and all that. So yeah, I guess I am technically half spirit in a way. So with Julius just geeking out even more until he gets interrupted into doing his work. Though when he leaves this time, his head's drooping because he has so many other questions. Which allows everybody to go into the hall for the awards. Julius gives out the awards, saying that they did have some guests joining them. So the awards were given, and the promotions as well with them, and they started eating. Obviously, Asta was barefoot, since he is has been going barefoot for a while ever since he's learned seismic sense. While he was eating, he noticed somebody walking towards Noelle and could tell from their heart rate and all that that there might be some hostility. So he looked over and saw a guy with similar hair color to Noelle walking over with a glass of water. When he went to go splash it, Asta used his water bending to catch it in midair and toss it in his face. Topping it off with freezing the water that was on his face, right, just full on freezing it on his face. Though it wasn't uh, enough at this point to make a big icicle, but his face was freezing. So he swiped at his face, shattering the thin layer of ice on him, yelling at Asta, "What the hell are you doing?" Asta looked at him. "I should probably be asking you that." Just, really, that's just rude, going to dump water on somebody's head while they're eating. What's wrong with you? He just gets mad and calls him out, being a commoner and ridiculing him about it. Asa gets pissed and hops onto the table like in canon, saying that, so what if I'm a commoner? I'm still gonna be the Wizard King. And does his usual rant. The Sand Mage uses the Q thing to surround him, though he feels something off, which then the cube began to open up. When he didn't know what was going on, but all of a sudden Asta moved his arms towards the guy and all of his sand began to rush back at him. He used his magic to defend against it, but wasn't sure what happened. When he stepped down, he said, "Really? I, I have a difference of opinion and you just go out and attack me? Royals and are most royals and nobility like this?" As he looked at Klaus, Mimosa, and Noel, and they're just kind of scratching their heads. Then the sea serpent coil happens. Asta pulls out his demon dweller sword and cuts right through it, saying, "Not worth even bending." As for his sister using the spider web mist spell to try to capture Asta, Asta just blows and turns the mist into some frost, ultimately nullifying the spell to where it wouldn't work anymore. She was surprised and said, "He turned my mist into frost?" Then the iron sand golem happens again, grabbing Asta, but Asta bends it off of him, and Solid still fires his magic water bullet at Asta, hurrying up and taking out the Demon Slayer sword. He ricochets it, he just reflects it back at him. With Solid on his knee now, he gets pissed, but then is interrupted by uh the Nozel remarking that he's making a mockery of the Silva House and Silver Eagles with this, which Megolion steps in, keeping him from attacking Asta. Leopold still is interested in Asta and calls him his rival, and Yami's just sitting there eating food, not giving a damn, figuring that this kid will probably be fine. Which is when the attack began. It happened so suddenly, using the spatial magic, Asta couldn't tell the attack was coming until it already happened, even with his seismic sense. Though once the stone guy made the map to show what was going on, Asta stated, "It seems like the invaders aren't alive." They look at him and say, "What are you talking about?" Asta points at his feet and say, I'm not barefooted for nothing. What, I have a ability that allows me to sense things from a good distance away, including people's heartbeat. I'm feeling a lot of footsteps, but no heartbeats going along with them. In other words, but I can also tell that it isn't any kind of doll or anything. In other words, somebody's reanimated corpses to attack us. Then he just runs off with them saying, "Where are you going?" "Going to the place with the most chaos. Best bet the guys who's controlling these corpse puppets is there." Legolion still says splits everybody up once Asta leaves with Leopold following him, and when he gets to Yami, he's already gone. He just jumped out one of the windows to go slice up some dead bodies. Which he just started saying, "Of course he's gone too. Well, as long as he takes care of the enemy, it doesn't really matter." So they get going. Like in canon, Asta is using his swords to smack the magic right out of the corpses, remarking, "Cease. Whoever did this has no respect for the dead. Which is a bit of a, I would assume, a touchy subject, considering the Avatar thing with the spirits, and many spirits being the ones of the dead. Like we've seen the Avatar speaking with the spirits of dead people before in their series. So it just doesn't sit well with Asta as the Avatar. As he continues, he saves the girl from Rades, the little girl from the anime. Have you seen the anime? Yeah. And says, back off. Which he sends Jimmy after him. He gets hit by the two things after reflecting them, realizing what they are and what they can do. He hurries up and uses its earthbending to create a wall. As Jimmy continues his attack, slowly destroying the wall, Asta breaks off some of the pieces on his side and begins using them to melt them, creating lava. And yes, he does have lava bending. We've seen the avatars in the past have had lava bending, like when Kyoshi created Kyoshi Island, and when Avatar Roku temporarily took control of Aang's body at the Fire Temple. He makes a spiral blade that Korra showed him that Bolin and that guy from the Red Lotus organization made. Once he had that, he used his earth bending to make a secondary wall that would also launch him upwards. He hurried up and threw the blade, cutting Jimmy straight down the middle. Once that was taken care of, Noelle showed up and began to use her water magic to douse the flames. So, uh, like, and like, Leopold and Noelle still end up fighting that mud magic zombie wraith thing, which is when Alfred, the lightning magic uh, thing, corpse with no arms or legs, shows up just floating in the air. It shoots lightning right at Asta. Asta hurries up, stabbing his sword into the ground and uses his bending to redirect the lightning, shooting it straight at Rades. Rades panics, saying, "What the hell?" Just trying not to get hit, but unfortunately does get zapped pretty good, saying, "Stop it, Alfred!" Once Alfred stopped, Rades tried to catch his breath, though at this time Asta grabbed his demon dweller sword and with air bending giving it a nice strong boost, chucks it, stabbing it clean through Alfred's chest, ultimately getting rid of him. Brady is pissed now, which Fagolion shows up now once he summons his defensive magic wraith. I forget the name of this one. I'm sorry about that. But yeah. Asta creates another wall to try to defend and things. So he uses lava bending again, tossing it up in the air to land on top of the shield. The shield holds up with the lava just hardening over the shield, with Rady saying, "Hurry up and break this thing off of your shield. I can't see." But unbeknownst to him, Asta is using his earth bending to go into the ground and right behind him to slam his demon slayer sword clean through the shield, taking out his wraith and slamming him along with the wraith straight to the ground. Like going on congratulates Asta for a job well done, and then captures and interrogates Rades for a moment, but suddenly getting sucked in by the spatial magic. Asta tried to stop it, but was too late. Since he was so focused on fighting those rays, his seismic sense wasn't as strong, wasn't as paying the he wasn't paying attention to his seismic sense basically as much as usual. Which he realizes that there's a living body underneath that pile of corpse not moving for some reason. He hurries up and attacks it with the spatial magic maids coming out, revealing that he was just wearing a mask to look like a zombie. Sorry. With Rady saying, "Took you, why didn't you take him away as well? Sorry, but had to deal with some priority targets first." Which we Asta sensed, and a bunch of the magic knights are gone from the capital now. He looks at them saying, "What did you do with the magic knights?" He looks at the spatial maids. I forget his name. I'm sorry, there's a lot of characters in this series to remember the names of. He says, "That doesn't concern you now, though I am impressed you're able to tell who I sent away." Though Asta smirks, saying, "Well, you missed two of them." Which would be Yami and as well as Yuno. Yami's trying to figure out what the hell's going on and then just starts looking to try to find them. And which a couple of seconds later, Vegolion falls to the ground with missing his arm, along with Eye of the Midnight Sun members popping up surrounding them. When this happened, Asta took a moment to pause, shocked by what just happened. This guy, he respected him for standing, not just for standing up for him, but for respecting him despite being a commoner, for being a better person than what most nobles and royals he's seen so far act like, to be a good person. After the root maids absorbed Noel's shield, the sea dragon's lair, Asta frickin' snapped, creating a wind tornado encasing his lower half. His eyes began to glow. Noel says, "Not again," as Asta began to breathe fire right at them. They panicked, trying to figure out what's up with this kid. He's using wind and fire magic. As they try to attack him, they see that their magic is being nullified by the swords uh, striking the magic attacks going straight for him. What? He's destroying our magic? The hell? He continues by turning the ground around Asta, Leopold, Noel, and the injured Veligolion into magma, starting to make it rise up to begin attacking them, causing it to rain magma. They use the Eye of the Midnight Sun used their magic to defend themselves so that they wouldn't be burnt to a freaking crisp, which is when Yami comes in and start and whacks in the back of the head using the flat of his blade two of the Eye of the Midnight Sun members. Since they see that they missed the captain of all things that was a big problem for them, they grabbed their two unconscious friends and just bailed. Asta still freaking out with magma roaring. The other magic knights came at this moment, seeing Asta in this state, completely furious. Mimosa saw Flagoleon and just hurried up and went to heal him. Asta looked at this and began to calm down a bit, floating down back to the ground and falling on his knees, saying, damn it, I couldn't help him. I couldn't reach him. Then he just stood up and bended some water from a nearby barrel, separating any dirt particles from it using his earth bending, and began to use his water bending to help heal Flagoleon along with Mimosa. After a while, they got Flagoleon into a hospital, and Julius still has that interaction with the Eye of the Midnight Sun, though it goes a bit differently, with them complaining, damn, what was that freak? Multiple elements as well. Multiple element, not to mention he can nullify our magic. What kind of monster is he? Which they're interrupted by Julius saying, well, I wouldn't call him a monster, though. If what, though, given what state of things and the shape you seem to be in, I'm guessing you pushed him past his tolerable limit. As he remembered the circumstances that caused Asta to go into the Avatar state in the dungeon from being completely furious. He does the same, kills two of the Eye of the Midnight Sun, and captures one, with Lick stepping in to save the rest. You know, things happens similar to in canon and all that during the attack. And once Julius comes back, Leopold still gives him that mark. And the captains and other magic knights are looking at Asta while him, Noel, Charmy, and Yami walk away to go back home. Thinking, this kid, what is he? That there wasn't any magic being sensed, even though that was clearly some serious power he was using. It doesn't make sense. Not to mention the ability to destroy magic. What is he? And this is where we'll be ending it for this part of the What If. This was part 3 of What If Asta was the Avatar. Hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for future notifications of future videos. And as for a final word, we are extremely close to hitting the goal of 1,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for the support. I really enjoy making this content, and I know that some of the what ifs you want them to continue and all that, but I can't do all of them at once. And gotta give you some time to just kind of stew while you're waiting for the what ifs. And as for some of the what ifs that you've been asking for, the new thumbnails that would go with those haven't been completed yet, so they're somewhat on hold, at least for now. So thank you, like I said, thank you, hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.